next week talking to Christos Goodrow. I'm not sure if you're familiar who he is, but he's the VP of engineering, head of the quote unquote YouTube algorithm or the search and discovery. So let me ask first, high level, do you have a question for him that if you can get an honest answer that you would ask? But more generally, how do you think about the YouTube algorithm that drives some of the motivation behind, some of the design decisions you make as you ask and answer some of the questions you do? How would you improve this algorithm in your mind in general? So what would you ask him? And outside of that, how would you like to see the algorithm improve?
Well, I think of the algorithm as a mirror. It reflects what people put in. And we don't always like what we see in that mirror.
From the individual, mirror to the individual, mirror to the society?
Both. In the aggregate, it's reflecting back what people on average want to watch. And when you see things being recommended to you, it's reflecting back what it thinks you want to see. And specifically, I would guess that it's not just what you want to see, but what you will click on and what you will watch some of and stay on YouTube because of. I don't think that, this is all me guessing, but I don't think that YouTube cares if you only watch like a second of a video, as long as the next thing you do is open another video. If you close the app or close the site, that's a problem for them because they're not a subscription platform. They're not like, look, you're giving us $20 a month no matter what, so who cares? They need you to watch and spend time there and see ads.
So one of the things I'm curious about, whether they do consider longer term sort of your longer term development as a human being, which I think ultimately will make you feel better about using YouTube in the long term and allowing you to stick with it for longer. Because even if you feed the dopamine rush in the short term and you keep clicking on cat videos, eventually you sort of wake up like from a drug and say, I need to quit this. So I wonder how much they're trying to optimize for the long term, because when I look at your videos aren't exactly sort of, no offense, but they're not the most clickable. They're both the most clickable, and I feel I watched the entire thing and I feel a better human after I watched it, right? So like they're not pretty just optimizing for the clickability, because I hope so. My thought is, how do you think of it, and does it affect your own content, like how deep you go, how profound you explore the directions, and so on?
I've been really lucky in that I don't worry too much about the algorithm. I mean, look at my thumbnails. I don't really go too wild with them. And with Mindfield, where I'm in partnership with YouTube on the thumbnails, I'm often like, let's pull this back. Let's be mysterious. Usually I'm just trying to do what everyone else is not doing. Right. So if everyone's doing crazy Photoshop kind of thumbnails, exactly. I'm like, what if the thumbnail's just a line?
Yeah.
And what if the title is just a word? And I kind of feel like all of the Vsauce channels have cultivated an audience that expects that. And so they would rather Jake make a video that's just called Stains than one called I Explored Stains, shocking.
Yeah.
But there are other audiences out there that want that. And, I think most people kind of, want what you see the algorithm favoring, which is mainstream traditional celebrity and news kind of information. I mean, that's what makes YouTube really different than other streaming platforms. No one's like, what's going on in the world? I'll open up Netflix to find out. But you do open up Twitter to find that out. You open up Facebook, you can open up YouTube, because you'll see that the trending videos are like what happened amongst the traditional mainstream people in different industries. And that's what's being shown. And it's not necessarily YouTube saying, we want that to be what you see. It's that's what people click on. When they see Ariana Grande, reads a love letter from like her high school sweetheart, they're like, I want to see that. And when they see a video from me that's got some lines in math and it's called Law and Causes, they're like, well, I mean, I'm just on the bus. Like, I don't have time to dive into a whole lesson. So, before you get super mad at YouTube, you should say, really, they're just reflecting back human behavior.
Is there something you would improve about the algorithm, knowing, of course, that as far as we're concerned, it's a black box, so we don't know how it works?
Right. And I don't think that even anyone at YouTube really knows what it's doing. They know what they've tweaked, but then it learns. I think that it learns and it decides how to behave. And sometimes the YouTube employees are left going, I don't know. Maybe we should like change the value of how much it, worries about watch time, and maybe it should worry more about something else. I don't know. But I mean, I would like to see, I don't know what they're doing and not doing.
Well, is there a conversation that you think they should be having, just internally, whether they're having it or not? Is there something, should they be thinking about the long-term future? Should they be thinking about educational content and whether that's educating about what just happened in the world today, news, or educational content like what you're providing, which is asking big sort of timeless questions about how the way the world works?
Well, it's interesting. What should they think about? Right. Because it's called YouTube, not our tube. And that's why I think they have so many phenomenal educational creators.
Yes.
You don't have shows like 3 Blue 1 Brown or Physics Girl or Looking Glass Universe or Up and Atom or Brain Scoop or I could go on and on. Yeah. They aren't on Amazon Prime and Netflix, and they don't have commissioned shows from those platforms. It's all organically happening because there are people out there that want to share their passion for learning, that want to share their curiosity. And YouTube could, promote those kinds of shows more. But like, first of all, they probably wouldn't get as many clicks. And YouTube needs to make sure that the average user is always clicking and staying on the site. Right. They could still promote it more for the good of society. But then we're making some really weird claims about what's good for society, because I think that cat videos are also an incredibly important part of what it means to be a human. I've mentioned this quote before from Unamuno about, look, I've seen a cat like estimate distances and calculate a jump, more often than I've seen a cat cry. And so things that play with our emotions and make us feel things can be cheesy and can feel cheap, but like, man, that's very human. And so even the dumbest vlog is still so important that I don't think I have a better claim to take its spot than it has to have that spot.
Yeah,
so
it puts a mirror to us, the beautiful parts, the ugly parts, the shallow parts, the deep parts. You're right.
What I would like to see is, I miss the days when engaging with content on YouTube helped push it into my subscribers' timelines. It used to be that when I liked a video, say from Veritasium, it would show up in the feed on the front page of the app or the website of my subscribers. And I knew that if I liked a video, I could send it 100,000 views or more. That no longer is true. But I think that was a good user experience. When I subscribe to someone, when I'm following them, I want to see more of what they like. Yeah. I want them to also curate the feed for me. And I think that Twitter and Facebook are doing that in also some ways that are kind of annoying, but I would like that to happen more. And I think we would see communities being stronger on YouTube if it was that way. Instead of YouTube going, well, technically Michael liked this Veritasium video, but people are way more likely to click on Carpool Karaoke. So I don't even care who they are, just give them that. Not saying anything against Carpool Karaoke. That is a extremely important part of our society, what it means to be a human on Earth, but
I'll say it sucks, but
but a lot of people would disagree with you, and they should be able to see as much of that as they want.
Yes.
And I think even people who don't think they like it should still be really aware of it, because it's such an important thing and such an influential thing. But yeah, I just wish that like new channels I discover and that I subscribe to, I wish that my subscribers found out about that, because especially in the education community, a rising tide floats all boats. If you watch a video from Numberphile, you're just more likely to want to watch an episode from me, whether it be on Vsauce 1 or Ding. It's not competitive in the way that traditional TV was, where it's like, well, if you tune into that show, it means you're not watching mine, because they both air at the same time. So helping each other out through collaborations takes a lot of work, but just through engaging, commenting on their videos, liking their videos, subscribing to them, whatever, that I would love to see become easier and more powerful.